You're in the wrong cabin. Return to your assigned seat.
Captain,
now.
what I'm in is federal jurisdiction. Badge in your face enough, or do you need me to read it to you?
I don't care what. This is my aircraft.
And you just tried to remove a federal investigator from first class because of a bias you can't admit. That makes this my investigation.
Oh my.
She'd flown hundreds of passengers across the world. Pilots trusted her, crews admired her. But that morning, when she walked onto a commercial flight dressed in uniform, she wasn't in the cockpit. She was a paying passenger, finally taking a vacation she'd earned. Yet as she settled into her first-class seat, a flight attendant leaned in, lips tight, voice sharp. "Ma'am, I think you're in the wrong cabin." What happened next would expose an entire system built on quiet prejudice. One question from her would ground the airline as a whole. Watch until the end. Wait a second. Tell us where you're watching from in the comments. And don't forget to subscribe for more powerful stories like this. Her name was Captain Zuri Adeyemi, one of the few black female pilots in a major U.S. airline. For years, she'd spent her life above the clouds, commanding respect through skill and calm leadership. Flying was her peace. Up there, she was weightless, free from the looks and whispers that sometimes followed her on the ground. That day, Zuri was off duty, flying home to surprise her mother for her birthday. She'd finally saved enough for a first-class ticket. Just this once, she wanted to feel like a passenger, not a pilot on duty. But even before takeoff, the energy around her shifted. The glances, the hushed tones, the hesitation of the attendants, it was subtle but sharp. She'd felt it before. Yet she tried to ignore it, reminding herself she had earned this seat fair and square. What she didn't know, this flight would change her life and the company's forever. As the boarding doors closed, Zuri sipped her coffee and opened a book. But the flight attendant returned, this time with another employee in tow. Their smiles were stiff, almost rehearsed. "Ma'am," one of them said, "we believe this seat might have been booked in error. May we see your ticket again?" Zuri calmly handed it over. They glanced at it, whispered to each other, then smiled again, forced, uneasy. "Could you step into the aisle for a moment, please?" Passengers turned. Eyes followed her. She could feel judgment in their silence, the unspoken thought, she doesn't belong here. Minutes stretched. The attendant spoke into a headset, and soon a supervisor appeared. He didn't even greet her. "Ma'am, this seat is reserved for first-class passengers only," he said flatly. Zuri's heart pounded. She'd flown this route dozens of times. She knew this plane. She'd flown this very aircraft before. Her voice trembled, but not from fear. From anger she'd learned to contain. "This ticket was bought in my name. What makes you think I don't belong here?" The cabin grew still. The supervisor stuttered. "It's just protocol. Protocol." The same word that had justified 1,000 small humiliations. Before she could respond, another flight attendant appeared with a white couple behind her, saying their seats had been double booked, and in that moment Zuri knew. This wasn't about tickets. It was about perception, and perception, she realized, could bring an entire system to its knees. Zuri stood tall in the aisle, her voice calm yet cutting through the tension like thunder. "You say this seat isn't mine. Then tell me, how many pilots have you seen sitting here in uniform? How many times have you assumed they belonged because of their skin color?" The words hit like turbulence. Silence swallowed the cabin. The supervisor froze, unable to speak. Then she reached into her bag, pulled out her airline badge, and placed it on the tray table. The golden wings glinted under the cabin lights. Gasps rippled through the passengers. "She's a pilot," someone whispered. But Zuri wasn't finished. "If I'm not fit to sit here as a passenger," she said, eyes locked on the crew, "how can you trust me to fly this plane?" And with that, the illusion of equality shattered mid-air. The story didn't end when the plane landed. By the time the wheels touched the runway, phones had recorded everything. Within hours, the video spread like wildfire, millions watching the quiet dignity of a black woman exposing the hypocrisy of an industry she helped keep safe. The airline scrambled to respond. Apologies poured in, but the damage was done. Policies were rewritten, training programs launched. But for Zuri, change wasn't just a press release, it was personal. She returned to the skies weeks later, head high, wings polished. And every time she walked through first class, she remembered that one question that silenced an entire system. If I'm not welcome here, where am I supposed to belong? Her question grounded more than a flight. It grounded an era of denial. Where are you watching from tonight? Take care.